This lesson on basic chord structure will be divided into 3 sections. The first section, we're going to do the chord structures on the whiteboard. And then the second section will be fleshing it out on the piano keyboard. And the third section, I'll show you how to incorporate these chords into a basic simple song and make the song pop. So you don't have to know every single chord in the world to make your piano playing go from boring to wow. So let's get started on the whiteboard. So I'm going to use the key of C major because no sharps or flats in that key, and so it's just going to make it easier, but all the chord patterns will work in any key. So here we go. So let's start with a major chord. A major chord, we use a capital M to indicate major. And so a major chord, you use C, so that's number 1 in the C scale. Let me put it on the line. C, E, and G. 1, 3, and 5. That is how you make a major chord in root position. So in C, starting on C, you go C, then you move up to the E, that's 1, 2, 3, and then you move up to the 5, which is G. Okay, so if you were in D, it would be D would be on 1, you would move up to the F sharp on 3, and the A would be 5. So it works that way. And how do you know it would be an F sharp? Well, I'll explain that later. And so in the next section. So here we go, that's major. Now let's do a minor. We indicate minor with a lowercase m. And so the minor is similar to the major, it's 1, but we flat the 3 and we add the 5. So in the key of C, that's C, E flat, and G. Okay, so let's do a diminished. Now diminished means to make smaller. And so diminished, sometimes you will see an indication for diminished with a little O or a little circle like that. So diminished is like taking a minor and making it smaller. So we're going to go ahead and flat the middle one. And we're also going to flat the 5. So in the key of C, that's C, E flat, G flat. Okay, and now let's do the augmented. Augmented is one of my really favorite chords. I was so glad to learn augmented. And a lot of times you'll see that with a little plus. Now, to augment means to make larger. So with an augmented chord, it's C. So we're going to use 1. We're going back to basic here. 3. But we sharp the 5. So that would be C, E, and G sharp. Okay. Let's see, what else should we do? The sevenths. The sevenths are very popular. So let's do a major 7th. So we'll do a capital M, 7. Now, check out how we're using all these odd numbers. So we have 1, 3, 5, and we add a 7. So we added the B to the lineup. So we did C, E, G, skip the A and add the B. Okay, so that is a major 7th chord. So you're probably also familiar with this one. This is a dominant 7th, and we use this one quite often where we do 1, 3, 5, and we flat the 7th. That's known as a dominant 7th. Okay, now it's very important to know how to build chords, and this is almost basically it. If you know how to make these chords, then you can use this structure and use this foundation to build upon, because you know there are other chords. You've seen weird chords like C minor 13th to the 7th power or something. That's not really a chord, but you know, you've seen all these weird configurations. But all you do is you read the chord indicators from left to the right, just like you would read a book. And so you go from left to right, and let's just do one for fun. Let's do this. So we do minor. Remember, we're in the key of C. We're going to use the C chord. So we use it. Let's say we have a minor, major, seventh. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Well, that seems conflicting, doesn't it? Because it says minor and then it says major. But let's just build it from the bottom. So it says minor. So if we're using the C chord, so what we see, well, the C minor chord is there. So that's 1, 3, flatted 3 with a 5. Let's go and write that up here. So we have 1, we flat the 3, and then there's the 5. But, okay, so we did the first part, but now the second part says major 7th. Well, do you see that anywhere here? Oh, there it is. Oh, look, we would just need to add the 7th. And that's all you have to do. And sometimes you'll see a chord that says something 6. Well, that means you add the 6th note of the scale to that chord. Yeah, and so, and sometimes, you know, it's really confusing when you're on the fly and you're reading a lead sheet or something like that, and you might see some chord you don't fully know how to do. But if you can figure out the first part of the chord and just play that, you'll probably be safe, because it probably won't clash with what's going on. And eventually you can add, you can go back, you can work on that chord, figure out what it is, and there's things all over the internet to teach you exactly how to make chords. But I want you to know how to make the chords yourself and how to understand the chord patterns. And so now we're going to go to the piano. We're going to flesh this out on the keys.